Well, it was an incredible performance by Wil. That was no doubt the story of this game. He was as efficient as I've seen him since he's been here with his command, fastball, breaking ball, change-ups. He was in total control out there. It was a masterful performance by him. To go 9 innings, we obviously needed that under the circumstances that we're under, coming out of the loser's bracket. So not only was it an incredible performance by him, he gives us a better opportunity in the game tonight because we obviously got to rest our bullpen. So got a couple big swings of the bat there to get some runs across there in the fourth that gave us a little bit of breathing room, and that's all that Wil needed. So it's a big win for us, and we get to play Maryland tonight with a chance to even the score, so to speak.
Questions for Wil? Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you.
Wil, can you talk about sort of maybe the pressure of the moment? Did you think about that at all with your team having the back against the wall?
Not really. I just was trying to throw strikes, help us win as much as I could. Just keep commanding my fastball and getting other pitches over for strikes.
Wil, did you have in your mindset that you're going 9 innings when you stepped on the mound today, and how important was that to you to go the full distance?
I knew that we needed a good outing. I mean, I knew that I needed to go deep in the game, especially if we win. We got a game tonight, so I went into it thinking that if I kept my pitch count down and everything, I could help the team out for later.
Obviously, this is why you come to South Carolina. You know, after your first appearance, is it everything you imagine? Yeah, it's incredible. The atmosphere is awesome, especially in the postseason. It's even better than it is in regular season. So.
Were you trying to pitch to contact more to try to keep your pitch count down and let your defense work behind you, or was it just like you normally pitch? Just throwing strikes. That's all I was trying to do. They got the bat on some balls that were good pitches and happened to keep my pitch count down.
Wil, was there any one pitch you felt you had working? Could you tell pretty early you were able to get into a rhythm? Really, all my pitches were. I could get them over for strikes. I felt out through the whole game that I could throw all 4 of them for a strike at any time.
You've been a pretty even-keeled guy over the course of the season. How much, though, does this mean to you? Can you tell, I mean, inside that this is a special performance for you?
It means a lot. Kept us alive. We had our backs against the wall and kept us alive, and now we get to play to fight another day. So.
Coach, what was it like to see your offense kind of get that 4 spot after breaking through a little bit of a crazy start to the game?
Yeah, it was good to see. We bunched some hits there in the fourth and some really good at-bats. And, you know, heck, it happened so long ago, I don't really remember the whole entire sequence. But I felt like the big hit when it was 3-0 there and that ball dropped for Max, that was a big play in the game that got us a little bit of breathing room. But we had some really good at-bats there in the 4th inning. Loaded the bases there with nobody out, and Tanner got that hit, and it was a good offensive performance for the most part. I thought from the 5th through the 8th inning we gave some at bats away, but you know, our guys probably subconsciously in some way, shape, or form started thinking about tonight when we got up 5 runs because our pitching staff has been so good all year long, and but we can't afford to do that tonight. We're going to have to play 9 innings of really good offensive baseball to have a chance to win.
Chad, if you can just talk about the performances you've gotten from your 2 freshmen in their postseason debuts, and if you've given any thought to who might get the start tonight.
I haven't given it thought. I'm going to meet with Coach Myers here in a second. I have to turn that lineup in by 6:05, so I'm probably going to wait to the last minute. But, yeah, Wil and Taylor were special, and they are special. They have a chance to be special players here. Obviously, Wil's performance today was as good as any starting pitcher's performance I've seen here at Carolina Stadium in a while. I mean, and we've had some good ones. But as far as with our backs up against the wall, 9 innings, 101 pitches, efficient, and he looked like a big leaguer out there. Didn't lose his velocity. The kid's a horse, and he wants the ball in his hand. And it was neat to see him perform like that.
Have you ever seen anything like what happened in the 1st inning with the 4 umpires walking off the field in a game of this magnitude, no less? And how did you kind of take?
I didn't do any. I just sat over there and bit my fingernails. There's nothing I could do. It's a rule deal, and they had to make sure to get it right. And I'm glad they took their time to make sure they got it right. The play is I don't know if they gave you clarification on it, but when you have backswing interference, that's what it was, the umpire ruled the play dead. And if it was a play in which Max would have went sliding into second, then he would have been called out. But because he stopped and the umpire calls dead ball because it's catcher's interference, the play's dead. And the base runners, it's a book rule. It didn't work out. Luckily, it went in our favor because I don't think Max stopped because the umpire did that. But, we'll take it.
You got a chance to get Max out of there early. How's he feeling? Will he be in the lineup tonight?
I don't know if he's going to be able to go or not. I got him out of there just thinking that if our only chance to get him, to go tonight is to get him in the training room and get him some treatment and see if Brainerd can loosen that thing up some. And we got 2 more hours to see. It's a flip of the coin. We'll see when we. I'll just go on what Max tells me. He was awfully sore today, but he still came up big with 2 hits, 2 for 2, and 2 doubles, and I think one of the bigger hits in the game.
Was it your understanding they went to left field to specifically look up that rule? None of them on the field knew, Well,
they didn't have a rule book. They knew. They wanted to make sure. It's an obscure rule, but it's a rule that they had to make sure they got right. And I think they did the right thing and handled it the correct way. I don't. It's tough luck for Campbell, But we didn't score that inning anyway, so not make a mountain out of a molehill.
Chad, you got to see Campbell twice in this regional. What's your impressions of their team?
Extremely well coached. Very, very. They know exactly how to handle every situation. I'm very, very impressed with their team. They battle you at the plate. They're not probably as athletically strong and gifted as some people that we play, but that's no knock on them. They are well coached. They have a plan. They play defense. Their pitchers know what they're doing. They're trying to use both sides of the plate and off-speed pitches, and they're no easy out by any stretch of the imagination. And it was 2 big wins to beat those guys, especially Friday, beating winning the game when they threw their 2 best guys. Those guys hadn't given up much all year long. So I'm very impressed with Campbell. Coach Goff, he does a terrific job. And they should have been in the NCAA tournament last year. That was a crock, to be quite honest with you, that they weren't in it. All the games that they won, and they were even talking to Coach. I think they were much more talented last year than they were this year. And I just think they were unfairly penalized last year, to be quite honest with you. And but he's got a great program. He does a great job, and he's got a lot to be proud of.
Talk about the resolve of your team. Obviously, you hadn't lost here much in the postseason. Turn around after a tough loss and bounce right back today.
Well, you don't have a choice. I mean, you either play well and try to win the next game, or it's time to put the uniforms up. And I hope our guys don't want to do that yet. We got our hands full tonight with a really good Maryland team, and we're playing at home. And if we can find a way to win tonight, all things are even. And then we'll have a championship here tomorrow night. So trying to still dig ourselves out of a hole. And if we can get this one tonight, I feel like we're out of the hole. But obviously we got a lot of work in front of us, and our pitching's a little bit thin right now. So we got to try to make some very, very good decisions and put ourselves in the best position we can to win.
Take 2 more, Scott.
With Florida and Florida State going 2 and out in their own regionals, I think Oregon State was hammered last night at home by UC Irvine. I mean, is the parity in college baseball now as great as it's ever been? How much of an impact has the dead and bats had on that?
Well, I think a number of things. I think there's a lot of universities out there committing to the sport of baseball, and there's a lot of good teams out there. And then on top of that, I think the bat's a great equalizer. It equalizes things. It makes the games touch and go, nip and tuck here and there. I mean, it's I don't know if I have the right answers, but I do know that I thought when they did the bats the way they did that a day like this in the NCAA tournament could happen, that some 4 seeds could win and maybe even in advance. And I think there's a number of those out there across the country right now that still playing, have a chance, and there's some 1 seeds at home. It's the parity in college baseball is obviously it's very, very apparent, and there's not much separation between the teams, and there's not much separation between us and some teams that didn't make the NCAA tournament in our league. You guys remember the Tennessee series? I mean, they're just as good as we were. It's a fine line, and we're lucky to still be playing. and hopefully we can find a way to win another one.
Even with all the pain that Max is in, he's 2 for 2 today. He's got 7 hits, which is more than anybody in this regional. Do you ever look at him and just wonder how he's able to do what he does?
Well, you're getting a glimpse of the player that, that we know that we have in Max Schrock, and it's just unfortunate this year. He's just been banged up the whole year, and he hadn't. Even though his numbers are decent, they could be even better. If he's a healthy Max Schrock, puts up All-American numbers, and. But he's been battling it all year. He's given his heart and soul for the team. He's trying to get out there and help us. He knows how important he is to our team. He's doing the best that he can, but he's not healthy. And but kudos to him for sucking it up, and not only sucking it up and playing, but producing as well. And he's a tough nut, obviously. And we'd love to have him in there, and I hope he can go tonight, but I'm not so sure.